must not know I'm that bitch. You must not know that I'm poppin'. You must not know I'm the shit. You must not know ain't no stopping. You must not know I'm that bitch. You must not know that I'm poppin'. You must not know I'm the shit. You must not know ain't no stopping. I'm a hustler ass bitch and I want my money now.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you didn't know, it's Sway. You can follow me on Instagram at _SheGonSway_. You can follow me on TikTok at SheGonSway, and you can follow me on Snapchat at Candy_Apples. Today technically is not a vlog day. It's a chill day, and I'm gonna do a story time that I've been postponing for about a year now. Okay, so today we're gonna do a smoke with me, and we're gonna talk about why I moved from Baltimore to Atlanta, what I did my first year being here, how I've established myself down here as an influencer in Atlanta. So if you want to come along with me for the story time and smoke with me today, go ahead, kick back, get all your little materials and stuff together, and let's go. Getting right into this video, I have been in Atlanta since 2017. It is now 2021 when I'm making this video. I've been in Atlanta for 4 years now. I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. I was born and raised there. I left when I was 18 years old, and I left a month after I graduated high school. Now, I didn't just move to Atlanta out of nowhere, okay? This is how it happened. I had a cousin who was living down here, and he was living with his boyfriend at the time, and he told me that he wanted me to come down and see him for the summer. Now, this is one of my favorite cousins. We grew up together. We were together all the time. So I agreed because I never really left the city. So I agreed to come down to Atlanta to come see him for the summer. And that's kind of how it happened. That's how I got down here. So I initially came down to Atlanta, and I was staying with him in his house during the summertime. And we were doing like a few things here and there. When I got here, I was able to get a room in his house. And, you know, I just set up some things. Like I got myself a little air mattress and everything like that. Because, you know, I was just staying for the summer. It wasn't that deep to me. And I didn't really want to sleep in the room with him and his boyfriend because, you know, no. No, thank you. After about a month of me being here, I decided to get a job. And that's what ended up being the grounds of me staying. The job that I got was in sales. And basically what I was doing at this job, long story short, was I had my own cubicle, I had my own little desk, my own phone and computer, and I was doing cold calls and warm calls out across the country to people for subscriptions for theaters and stuff like that. That's what I was doing. So that was my first initial job out here. I was working in downtown Atlanta. Had that job for a while. And with that job, I decided to stay because before I even got the job, I talked to my mom about it, and she was really like, it's no point in you coming back. You already left. Nothing's going on up here. You're not missing anything. Like, you might as well just go ahead and do your thing. So I was like, okay, all right. Let's pray that YouTube doesn't take this video down because it is a smoke with me video, and I'm just not going to include a lot of the actual, you know, stuff. So fast forward past that. After a month or two of living with my cousin, and the summer was over, and I decided I wasn't going back to Baltimore. So I ended up having to get my mom to come down so we could try to find me an apartment, because my cousin was going through a chaotic situation with his boyfriend and his boyfriend's family, and I had to leave. It wasn't about me, but I had to leave. I had to get out of that situation. Like, it wasn't healthy for me to be there. And she went back to Baltimore. She came down to check on me and make sure I was good and everything, and then she went back to Baltimore. So when she went back to Baltimore, I was riding around Atlanta looking at different apartments and everything like that. I was able to find somewhere. I was able to put 6 months down because they weren't trying to let me move in because I wasn't a Georgia State resident. I didn't have any real proof because at that time I had just started working. So I didn't have any proof of employment being in Georgia and everything. So it was a lot of paperwork and documentation that I did not have to be able to get the apartment first. So my little, you know, my little thing to put some fire up under their ass to let me go ahead and stay was like, you know, I'll pay 6 months up today. 6 months right now. So I dropped 6 months rent on them day of, plus the, you know, first and last month and security deposit, stuff like that. And then later I had to drop a pet fee because my dogs came. But yeah, I had got my spot, and I literally was able to stay in my spot for one night by myself. I had the first night by myself, I had my keys, and I remember I was just laying on the floor in my living room with my keys in my hand, and I was just like, bro, I have my own spot. Like, I got my own fucking house. I'm hyped. So the next day, like a few hours later actually, because what my mom had did was she went back up to Baltimore, and then once I told her I found a spot, she drove down with my boyfriend at the time and brought me all of my furniture and stuff like that. Following morning, they came with the mattresses and dishes and all that stuff. Then my mother was like, she was like, you got 2 rooms, I might as well stay. I was gonna use the other room as a studio or an office, but it is my mother. She did, and another thing that she pushed, but she was like, you know, I always wanted to leave and I didn't have a reason to, and now you're, you know, in Atlanta, and now I got a reason to come down there. I got a reason to move. So I was like, okay, all right, I get it. But that ends really the story as of how I moved here. So, and that was the spot that I ended up staying in for like the next year and a half, 2 years. So what I ended up doing in my first year being down here, my first year being down here, I did a lot of things. Mainly what I did in my first year was I was working. I was working and I was networking. I was popping out to networking events with my cousin. I was working my job consistently. I really didn't have too much free time. I wasn't doing anything. I mean, I went out to a few spots. I was still kind of young. I was like 18. So I went out to a few, like, you know, hookah bars or something on Peter Street. I was really chilling pretty much the first year. I was trying to get my, you know, get my grounds. So I was just mainly meeting people. I wasn't asking for anything. I wasn't necessarily looking for opportunities, but I was just meeting people. I was just introducing myself to people. I was getting cool with people. And then, after a twist of events and me ending a relationship and going through some time and then going into another relationship, I ended up starting a business. Now, this business started because I was trying to help my ex-boyfriend. That's a whole nother story time. I started this promotion team called Problem Child Promotions in Atlanta. Now, I'm not gonna make it seem like, you know, I started it, I came up with the idea and everything like that. This is how it happened. I had a conversation with my ex-boyfriend. He told me one of the things he knew how to do best was throw parties and events and stuff like that. I'm like, cool, I do that too. I was in Baltimore, I was throwing parties and shit at my house just because. So I'm like, all right, cool, that's a bet. We can do that. And then also, what I forgot to mention before, within that first year, the one thing that I did do to help me to network was I started working with Bomb Squad ATL as a promoter and a bottle girl. They had me at Rio nightclub in Marietta, and I was doing bottle service, and I was also promoting, and I was getting paid to do that. But through doing this, I was learning from Ice. I was learning how to run a promotion team. So I was learning a lot of good promotional, networking, and club-related business tips from being under Ice and Bomb Squad ATL. And under him, I had my own little team of promoters that were under me. And under me on that team was a dude named Sleezo. Now, Sleezo, he was pretty quiet at the time. He was, you know, he was a promoter. He was like throwing parties and stuff, but he said like the guys that he was throwing parties with, he was trying to start a team with them and they were bluffing. So he kind of hopped on with me and we were doing Rio. And I told him that we were gonna start a promotion team. I called him into it because one of the things that I admired that he had told me was the fact that he wanted to get a club within 4 years of starting a promotion team and everything. So he had a long-term goal. I brought him on into the meeting with my ex-boyfriend, and my ex-boyfriend brought on his friend Juice, who was a host for parties. He would be on the mic and stuff like that. We had a conversation one night about, starting a promotion team, and I was basically speaking the entire time. Now, when it came down to it, I was kicking the business part of it to everybody on how this shit could work for everybody and how everybody, can make it work for everybody else. And then we had to come down to the name and all of that, which is a whole nother conversation in itself. We created the team right there in that room with the 4 people, and then we started to recruit people onto that team. We started social media platforms for that team. I was recruiting every lit female that I saw at every event that I went to. So for a while I was doing promotion down here with Problem Child Promotions. I had started a girls team within Problem Child Promotions, which were the hype girls of Problem Child. They came out to every party, every event. They usually always had Problem Child or bad girl attire on. They were called the Problem Child Bad Girls. And I had these hoes lit, and I was lit, and that was just a summer to remember. We were throwing the biggest college parties in Atlanta at that time, to the point where all the previous promoters were sneaking into our parties trying to figure out what the hell we had going on, because who the fuck were we and how the fuck we get popping like this all of a sudden. So yeah, that was a fun time. I built a family within them. It ended up being like 40 to 50 of us at one point in time. There's all the guys, all the girls on the team. And we all got really close. We would do a lot of team outings and stuff, and kickbacks and game nights and stuff like that. So we had a real solid team. Everybody was cool. Separately, it was like, okay, cool. I got my footing here. I got myself established as far as people knowing who I am, knowing my face, knowing what I do. So I decided to get back into my music. I had stopped doing music when I came down here because I couldn't initially hop right into music. It was a way too saturated of a market, and it still is. But at that point in time, me just coming down and dropping in and trying to do music, it just wouldn't have worked out for me the way that it's working out for me now. So I waited about a year, and I started to take openings for artist showcases in Atlanta. So I would be going around to different artist showcases, and I started winning these artist showcases with my songs. So once winning these showcases, this is helping me network more and more. And actually, a team member from Problem Child, who was managing an artist at the time, he decided to come on and manage me. And this is Ken that you see all the time in my videos and stuff. He is now my manager as an artist, and he was underneath me on my promotion team before. So look how the roles flipped. But yeah, he's been helping me out. He's been pushing me into different performance opportunities and stuff like that. And then I started to do some interviews. I started to drop some music and music videos. I ended up doing a song with a featuring artist, that's Pretty Bitch, and it's out on all platforms. It's featuring Mayhem Music, and her Instagram is also Mayhem Music. Eventually, I fell off of Problem Child, and this was within the last year. I had done all I could do in that situation with that business. I was at my ceiling with that business and those people. It wasn't everybody, but it started to become a very toxic situation, which is a whole nother story time. And I started to just push on my music. I ended up recently getting a distribution deal with Sony Orchard Records through UED Studios, and I'm in the workings of a major record deal, artist development project going on for myself. So I got a lot of cool stuff going on right now. And as far as an influencer, how I became an influencer, it's still hard for me to fathom the fact that I am an influencer, because of the fact that I have so much, like everyone, I have so much going on in my personal life. I can't understand why I would be able to influence somebody. But I had to think of it from a different perspective, because I'm influenced by different people online. And I've seen through things like, I'm on multiple social media platforms. The only thing that I do not use is Twitter. I don't get on Twitter. I'm on Snapchat, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube. So I kind of just spread myself across all platforms. I love to make content. I'm a content creator at heart. I've always loved to make home videos and take pictures and stuff. If you know me, you ever been to my home or anything, you know I have hundreds of pictures over the years from high school to now, just me and friends and me and experiences and stuff like that. Like, I love to record my memories. Home movies was always a thing that I wanted to do, and it's like, I always wanted to be famous. I didn't know what I wanted to be famous for, but I knew that I wanted to be famous, and I knew that I had a multitude of talents, but I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. I can do a multitude of things. Have I mastered any of these things? No. But I'm also only 22 years old, so mastery is not really a thing to talk about at this age. I decided to let my personality flow on certain platforms. Now, on Instagram, you don't really see my personality like that. You see my pictures. You see the effort that I put into my content creation, the pictures that I take, the captions, the locations that I'm at, stuff like that. And in so doing this, I'm able to get more traction to these pages, businesses, locations, and stuff like that. On TikTok, I have let loose my goofy side, my goofy personality. That's really where you see me doing all the funny, weird, random shit that I probably wouldn't even post on Instagram. And on Snapchat is like the catch-up of all my stuff. Snapchat is where I get, I save my most vulnerable memories, and they might pop back up on the timeline or something like that. So it's just like, if you're following me on multiple social media platforms, you'd understand that I love to include other people in my life and my experiences. I just have a problem with letting people know me and know what it is that I do, where I come from mentally or emotionally. That's just something that's hard for me. But yeah, I moved to Atlanta when I was 18. I started in promotion, and then I went into my music, and then I went into modeling, and then I am where I am now as an influencer on multiple social media platforms. In modeling, I got into it by putting myself into castings, and then I'm following different social media accounts that are doing castings for videos and stuff like that. So I was able to go and do these castings, get paid for them, get content from them. I was able to vlog them. I was able to meet other models and other girls there, and that could connect me to more opportunities and vice versa. So it was all about networking for me. I've just been sowing my roots here in Atlanta, so it's been about networking to the point now. But separate from that, yeah, I hope that I covered each base as to why I moved to Atlanta, when I moved to Atlanta, what I did in my first year down here, and how I've established myself to the point where I am now as an influencer. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little bit of insight into my life. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment down below what other type of storytime videos that you would like to see from me, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.
You must not know, ain't no stopping. I'm a hustler ass bitch, and I want my money now.